The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up, brighter. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Hey everybody, it's Pinecase Podcast, the podcast where music is your drug of choice, and we're back on another Tuesday evening. I hope everybody is safe and happy and well out there. Tonight we are hanging out with healer Cody Joshua. My goodness, did you shift my entire being today? Well, so it started a little while ago because I listened to you as soon as you hit the calendar, but I didn't realize how important it was to me until today when I was chaotically running around in circles, couldn't seem to get my things together, and then I put on your YouTube channel and just absolutely fell in love with everything that you do and your skill set. I noticed I was wearing socks and I was like, I really need to just like be outside and go walk around and just ground a little bit. And then I ended up getting like most of my to-do list checked off, and I was like, oh, that's what this is for. That's why, this is why we have these conversations, and this is why what you do is so important. So can you just, before we really tuck into this, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us here on Pinecase. It's absolutely a privilege and an honor. And yeah, thank you for coming and hanging out with us and letting us know what it is exactly, like what you do and how you got into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I used to work in, so it actually goes a little, I'm going to take it a bit far back. Okay. So
sounds good.
I did nothing with my life from 13 to about 26 years old. I was addicted to every drug that you can imagine. I was full-blown alcoholic and Xanax addict by 13. I was shooting heroin by 20. I was on meth by 22. And I've been to about 40 different rehabilitation centers in my life. I've overdosed almost 9 times, been pronounced dead, in and out of hospital psych wards. Pretty much that was my life from 13 to 26 years old, and in and out of jails. And long story short, that caught up to me, and I was this close from going to prison, and it scared me sober. Completely scared me sober. And I remember the last time that I got arrested, the judge let me out, and I was about 25, and the judge let me out and told me that this is my last chance. If you don't do this time, then you're going. So through all that, I share that because I literally have done every type of therapy, and I've been to every type of meeting that's humanly possible for a person to try, and I still could not stay sober. Like, I just couldn't. Nothing helped more than the drugs helped.
You're right.
And so I got out. I remember I was in solitary confinement at 26 years old, crying and looking at myself in the mirror. And I said, I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to take care of you when I get out of here. And I got out. I went to treatment, completed it with flying colors, became the house manager. Then I became a behavioral health technician in a detox facility. And then I became the case manager for the entire facility. So that's important because I started to, now I'm seeing the inner workings of these treatment centers. I'm seeing where everything is going wrong. I'm seeing where nobody gives a fuck about anybody. Nobody cares about anything besides what type of insurance you got. Yeah. And so I was not that way. I cared about the hundreds of men that I case managed in the years that I was a case manager. I cared about these people, and I did everything that I could to help them the best possible way that I could. And so when the healing and the sound and the energy work comes into play, is my mom is very intuitive and just like and a very shamanic individual, and she has been for a very long time. Like when I was homeless on the street, she would put quartz crystal around my neck and she would give me bracelets, and I didn't know what was going on. My mom owns one of the most successful crystal shops in Northwest Indiana, and she has for a long time. And so when I was about, I think maybe like 6 months clean or something like that, I can't remember exactly when, but she told me she wanted to get Reiki certified with me, and she bought a class for us, and we went and did the Reiki class together. And man, when I did that, it like unlocked some shit for me. Like it unlocked some shit for me. Like I've always been a very highly sensitive individual. I feel everything. When somebody's sad, I have to make sure that I don't take that on. When somebody's angry, like I absorb things. So we went and did that, and my whole life just like shifted. My emotional state, everything. And then for Christmas in like 2021, I think it was, my mom, she came out here to Arizona to visit me, and we went to a different crystal shop here, and there was a little singing bowl that I found, like a little just Tibetan brass hammered singing bowl. And I remember putting it in my hand, and I just hit it, and it was like boom, and it like, I remember it like going into my palm. It felt like it was going through my veins. Okay. Yeah. And my mom bought it for me, and I was like, dope, dude. I was living in treatment still. I was literally still like sober in treatment, and I got that. Okay. And so throughout all the treatment, I would use that bowl for meditation and just all these different things. And then I bought another little small one. And then we fast forward, after I'm the BHT and the house manager and the case manager. So when I'm a case manager, I turned my office into literally like a healing center, dude. I had the back office. I had an oil diffuser going. I had incense burning all the time. I had my crystals all over. I had my bowls in there. And then in Christmas of 2021, my mom bought me a crystal bowl, like a real, like nice one, like a big one, like made of quartz. And so I started playing that, and it just was like, whoa, dude. And it was just like a cool hobby for me. Like that's all this was at this point. I worked in treatment, and I would use it during sessions with my clients when I was in rehab. I would see them come in all flustered. I'm just be like, dude, smell this lavender real quick, and let me play this for you for a minute, dude. Yeah. Okay. And then on my birthday, 8 months later, my mom bought me a full set, seven chakra set crystal bowl. So now I'm in there. Now I'm locked in, and I bring it to work every day. And then I start facilitating free. I did not get paid extra for this from the treatment center. I started facilitating free hour-long sound baths for all the clients. Like the therapists these guys would literally leave group to come knock on my door and be like, hey man, you think you could hit that bowl for me real quick, dude? And I noticed this. I started to be like, there's something happening here with this right now. Like this is before I really knew the science or even like what hurts meant or anything or the keys of things. I didn't know. I was just playing them intuitively. And so I was not certified yet. This is, I'm just doing it. I'm doing it at home. Every time I play, I get goosebumps when I'm playing these bowls. And then I start adding like other little things. Like my mom bought me a chime and just like other things that I could add. And so I mean, after a while, the therapists would start coming in there and be like, hey, you want to run group? And so I started running group. I worked at that treatment center for a long time. They treated me like absolute shit. I tried to put my 2 weeks in, and then they fired me the next day.
Of course
And that
they
was,
did. Yeah.
and then that was the time I said to myself, I'm literally never working for another human being in my life. I said that to myself, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I literally said that to my mom and my lady. I was like, I'm never working for another person. All the money that I make is going to be made through my own doing and my own energy, period. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And so I started like working at a crystal shop for a little bit and like just kind of like floating by, to be real with you. I was not really like, I started selling mushrooms on the side, just like trying my best to just like do what I was, eat. Like there were
Yeah, you
days
gotta eat, man. Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta keep the lights on.
like
Like there is things to do. Yeah.
there were days I just ate ramen like every day. I would live off of like $20 a week. And a lot of things happened in that time. That was probably like a year of unemployment of just like doing what I do. And then, but I forgot, this is the important part. So 2 weeks after I left my job, my lady got pregnant with my second daughter.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I was like,
You got babies. You also got babies to feed. We got babies to feed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
three total. So,
Mhm.
so I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I literally was living in my car. I relapsed as well.
Yeah.
I relapsed on fentanyl. I was burnt. I was actually burnt. I got very depressed after I lost my job because I loved it so much, and I loved these guys. Like truly, when I came to work, I was like excited. I was the cool guy. I was the coolest employee in the whole place. Like I was like the reason why people were happy at that place. And I have like just a handful of men that would still say that today. And so I'm just like burnt, man. And so I'm homeless. My lady is like now 6 months pregnant, and like 6 months through her pregnancy, I'm literally in and out on the streets, just like making some money, playing my bowls, making some money, not really making money, in a hotel, fucking strung out, just like in and out. So I get a homie bought a house, and he was like, dude, you could come get a room in here, man. Okay. You could pay $500 a month. And I was like, oh my God, thank you, bro. It was like 3 months before my daughter was going to be born. And I had all my instruments. I had all my instruments just stuffed in my car. So I would drive around with them everywhere in my trunk. And so this room was nice. Okay. It was amazing. And I set up my whole sound thing. It was been almost a year since I had been able to set up my instruments and like just wake up and play. So I was like, dude, this is exactly what I needed. Still no job, still just kind of like floating by. And then like I didn't have social media for this whole time I got sober or anything. So I decided to make an Instagram and a TikTok. And so I made a TikTok, and I shit you not, after 2 weeks of having a TikTok, or maybe like a month, it was September, the middle of September of 2022. I posted a sound healing video, and by this time I'm certified. I literally went and got like relapsed, got sober, and my mom helped me pay for a certification. I got certified in sound as a sound practitioner at the Sedona Crystal Temple. And so after I got that, it was like boom. A week later, I posted a video on TikTok, and it was with a crystal singing pyramid. And I remember exactly what I said. I literally had just woke up out of bed. I had a hoodie over my head, and I just said, please stop scrolling for a moment. And I took this, hit it, spun it, put some information about sound on the screen. The next morning, I woke up with 1 million views and 10,000 followers.
Damn.
And I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. It's like, this is what I'm doing. This is it. I'm like, this doesn't just happen to anybody. I said it to myself. I'm like, this is a gift. This is a gift from God. This is a gift from the universe.
But
And
you've
so,
also completely set yourself up for this moment. Like you've done all the things, like even preparing your room at your employment before and like allowing that to be a space to sit in and setting yourself up for success in your room in the new spot. It's like all the energy. And I don't think people give themselves enough credit. It's like, oh, this just happened. Like, bro, you clearly had been preparing for this to happen this entire time. Like all of these things, your mom giving you these gifts of love and even just putting in the energy to go and be certified. I mean, it I've been in some of the situations you're talking about, and it's not that easy to prioritize yourself when we're hungry, lonely, tired, right? It's like angry. It's like, how do you prioritize yourself? So yeah, it sounds like you've been working at this for quite some time, and it's and well deserved, you know?
thank you so much.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So that's pretty much how I got into it. And I taught myself how to play flute on live in front of everybody. I did not know how to play flute before I started this channel. I only was on bowls. So I've mastered over 50 type of flutes in that time. I bought a flute on live stream and literally practiced on live in front of my audience every day. So there's people that have been watching me since that time that watch me become like a master flute player.
I
And
love
so
it.
yeah, there's that. And so yeah, I just have taught myself more and more stuff as I go. And you know, I never had people support me in the way that they did when I started that channel. Like I remember when I saw like the 10,000 followers and I had all these videos going viral. Like I'm not even kidding you. There were days and weeks where I was gaining 1,000 followers an hour,
Amazing.
and it was just like, oh, and I would get emails from TikTok saying, "Hey, your video is viral. You should go live." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went live, and then people just started sending me money. They
Yeah.
just started sending me money, and I'm like starving. And like I remember when I got like $100, I started crying on live stream in front of everybody. I was like, "You guys," I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know how to handle this. Like, thank you so much." And then like they started to see my jewelry that I was wearing that I make. And they were like, "Hey, what is that you're wearing?" I used to make these jars that are filled with different crystals and herbs, like filled with intention. And I used to make them for myself. And this lady, Sandy, I will never forget this lady, Sandy, bro. She was on my live stream and she goes, "Hey, what's that little jar around your neck?" I was like, and I explained it to her. I'm like, "Oh, it's like a copper glass." It was like a little copper glass jar. And I put different herbs and crystals in it for myself, just like to match my energy. And she was like, "Nice, I want one. How much are they?" And I was like, 75. And then she just sent, I just saw the notification, 75. And then by the end of the live, I had 10 orders for that jar. And then throughout the next 6 months, I made like $10,000 off of those jars. And I created a whole live stream where I would just have crystals and different herbs, literally like hundreds of them everywhere. And I would make these jars in real time for each person. And I would write their name and I would make a scroll with each crystal and each herb and why I put it in there. And so it became my life. I literally started to be able to take care of myself, and like I like learned how to be an artist. I was so blocked. I was in survival mode. My nervous system was broken entirely. I couldn't even sleep at night. I would wake up in a panic every day, barely able to take a full breath for a long time. And even throughout the years of being on social media, I was still feeling like that. Like I just started to feel normal like 2 months ago.
It's a wild it's a wild letdown when it actually starts to happen, and I keep trying to explain that feeling to people because they're like, "I don't know how to I don't know how to articulate it." But I'm like, at some point, I actually stopped task managing my life. Like, I stopped worrying about getting ready for this thing that happens at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever, and I started just enjoying my day until that thing happened, and then situationally, I would just be prepared and ready to go because I was already talking, I was already hydrated, I had already eaten because I had started my day already. And so,
Right.
those things that I used to anticipate with such stress and anxiety and like, and here I thought I was like really accomplishing stuff, but like I was losing 8-10 hours of a day just getting ready for this like one moment.
Right.
But I don't know, at some point that shifted, and then you start enjoying life. And I don't know how to explain it to somebody or how to get them there, which is why these tools are so important. And I'm so, first of all, I'm I don't want to cry because it's like it's not my story to tell, but it's so refreshing to hear that the internet worked for the individual in the right way for the right reasons. I think like if we are going to exploit people's time like this, then it should be best served for situations like this. So I'm just like super happy for you that that's the way that it went. I think it's just such a
Thank you.
beautifully organic story that I don't know why it's making me tearful, but I'm so impressed by it because I think that more people deserve to have a bit of pocket change for the amazing things that they do. So it's really refreshing to hear that it actually works for some people. So yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it also in just enjoying life, like we just get stuck in these like in these like, well, a lot of people call it like paralysis, right? It's like, oh, I can't get anything done and I'm stuck on the couch and I haven't left my bed, and I just want to be like, you just get up and go outside. But it's just not that easy, right? It's like I can say
Right.
that now, but it hasn't always been that easy for me. I mean, there's definitely times where I just didn't understand how to get myself motivated, or even like just appreciate like the things that I did have, right? It's easy to be like, well, I've been, been at it for 20 years or whatever, but I still don't have anything to show for it. And it's like, right, but you still have, four walls and you still aren't that hungry. And, if you got to go outside, you could probably strap some shoes to your feet. So it's just easy to get stuck in that, like, I don't even know what to call it anymore, because I feel like more of us are probably there than less of us. Like it hasn't always been like that, but yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it was literally like I've been through so much therapy and verbally worked through so many things in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but the trauma is in my body.
Yeah.
It's in my heart, it's in my lungs, it's in my hands. And so for me, it's like I'm so brutally self-aware that I would like get angry at myself for feeling these ways because I'm ready to go in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm organized. I'm ready to go. But my body is crying for help. My heart is crying for help. And I didn't know what it needed, because one of the truest things I've ever heard and one of the best books I've ever read is the body keeps the score, man.
Yeah.
We can forget all sorts of stuff. The cells in
Mhm.
our body do not.
Yeah.
They do not forget. And so overdosing 9 times, being
Yeah.
addicted to Xanax at 13, like literally overdosing on Mother's Day and senior year, like these things, like, and I can only laugh about it now because it's like my body did not forget any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, why can't you breathe, man? I would be out in the store and be like, dude, we're just looking for some cereal. Why can't you breathe, bro? What is going on right now? I get like calls and texts, and just like the phone is a very traumatizing device for me. Like I get like when I'm on do not disturb 23 and a half hours of the day, because like getting text, some of the most devastating things I've ever heard from other people have been through my cellular device. So I have a lot of trauma around the phone and emails and all that stuff, because I just like, it's like Russian roulette. It could be a good text, it could be the worst text I ever heard in my life. So it's like I've had to work through, even like I get texts sometimes and my stomach will drop, or the phone will vibrate in my pocket. I'm like, oh shit, but it's just my mom trying to say hi. It's just my lady asking me if I want something from the store. But like, that's the proof that the body keeps the score. That is proof for me. The phone is it's like genuine proof to me that you just don't forget certain things. And most people have not gone through the amount of therapy that I have gone through and have the self-awareness or realize that that's why they feel the way they feel. So they're just walking around life just thinking that they're broken and that that's just how they are, and they just are going through life in a constant state of survival and panic because they have no idea why they're even feeling certain ways about certain things, or why does, when my wife says that to me, why do I want to punch a wall? It's like, dude, because you didn't dig deep. You don't have the awareness of where it came from. Because to know the source of something is extremely valuable if you know what to do with it. Knowing the source of something is extremely valuable when you know what to do with it. And if you just, projection is the devil, man. If you don't know the source, you're going to project it on a bunch of things that it isn't their fault, or that place's fault, or that situation's fault. And then you're just going to create a life of, it's like the walls that we build to protect ourselves as children become a prison when we're an adult, bro. And they become a prison when we're an adult. So, and that's really what we're fighting against, is all these defense mechanisms that we built for ourselves as a child, starting at age like 5, 7, and we're dealing with a child in a adult avatar.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that part. I mean, my grandma, for the last month, she's like, have you called your mom? Did you check in with your mom yet? Have you called your mom? And it's it's because I'm supposed to pick her up from the airport in a couple of days. Like, such a cool, amazing. So I'm so excited. My kids are excited to see grandma, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you what, every time that Nana is like, have you talked to your mom? I'm like, why? What's happening? What happened? Where is she? What's going on? To the point where I was like, can you just relax? Like, it's cool. I know when I'm supposed to get her from the airport. It's going to be totally fine. It's not her problem though. She's just making sure everybody's lined up and ready to go. And like, to her, this is like a super positive thing. Her baby gets to go hang out with her baby, gets to hang out with her babies. Like, she's just happy. And I'm like, right. But it's like giving me full blown anxiety over here. Like, I can't handle. And it's like, it's amazing how unaware we are of those things, because honestly, like, it's something to be celebrated. The cell phone is something I think a lot of us have a really gross relationship with, actually. Like, I actually turned my trap line into a warm line. That's kind of how Pinecase started. We took a number that we used to trap from and turned it into a line where people can call in and say, I'm having a tough day, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And we have beautifully trained professionals on the other end of it. If you guys are in the comments, it's 250-289-3948, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But that's because, like, we have this really terrible relationship with these things that actually give us all this entertainment and all this. We're supposed to run our whole lives off of it. But a lot of people don't realize, like, exactly what you're saying. Every time I've lost somebody, it's been delivered through this mechanism. Every time that, I've had to deal with like a probation officer or a lawyer or even just a change of address, all these things, they come through this space. And it's something, because I work in the mental health space and I deal with a lot of beautiful people all the time. Email is actually a really touchy subject for a lot of folks, and how they choose to communicate. And I think it's something that we should take into consideration a lot when dealing with people, with our people, right? It's like, what is your best means of communication? How would you like to further this? And not to be super sensitive, because I think tiptoeing around stuff all the time is not the answer. But at the same time, like, for one person to blast off 10 emails and be done with their day is not such a big deal. But yeah, maybe the person receiving that can't even get to that email anyways, because their email is so full of other stuff that they can't even see it in there, right? And it's like, yeah, it looks so different for everybody. But it's interesting that you bring that up, because it's just something that we've all just stuck into our back pockets and lived life, and it's like not that big of a deal, and it's supposed to be this great thing. But trauma and drama looks like so many different things, and we're surrounded by it all the time, and yet we don't seem to be able to have the tools to create the right space and foundation for ourselves, which is why earlier I said, like, you're building these spaces intentionally the whole time. And I think that there's more to be said there, because we're responsible for ourselves, and I don't think we do it enough. I know I don't do it enough, and I'm well aware of like every plant and window and thing in my house and where it sits and why it's there. But I go into people's houses quite a bit as a support worker, and I'm like, you know what, I don't even think you're aware of like that your house is not like ergonomical. Like, I don't think you're
Right.
realizing that
Right.
just stepping over this thing at the front door, or this big pile of shoes at the front door, is actually like jamming up your whole being. Like, you're like entering your house, like tripping and sideways and leaning against a wall. Like, I don't understand how you don't understand that that's
Right.
like
Right.
not healthy, you know? So
Right.
yeah.
Or this one too. It's like my friends will be like, dude, I'm having a hard time sleeping. I'm like, bro, you literally have a device in your hand this close away from your face, and then you sleep next to it while it's charging.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you have a Wi-Fi router in the corner of your room. It's like, dude, but again, I can't even blame these people, because we're not taught this in school. Nobody taught me any of this. I found out all this information from just people, just different people. Like, they don't teach this. They don't suggest to not have it, like piles of things all over the place, and how that affects your mental health, and how honestly, I was just reading today, piles of clutter is a coping mechanism for ADHD.
Yeah.
It's literally, you're dealing with a mental health individual when you walk into someone's house and there's piles of stuff everywhere. Their brain literally cannot handle figuring out where to put all these things, so they just make piles. Yeah. And it's not necessarily dirty. It's just all their stuff. It's unfolded clothes. It's all the wires and chargers. It's this, it's that. And so that's a coping mechanism. It isn't very helpful, but it is the coping mechanism. And so it's habit energy. We get caught in the habit energy. If you've done that your whole life and nobody ever gave you the tools and the skills or guidance to change it, it becomes part of your whole entire being.
Yeah. Well, and just walk, it's like there's so many times where it's like you're tired because you're not sleeping, but there's stuff all over your bed, all over the couch, all over all these spaces that are meant to relax. Your bathroom is absolutely chaotic, and these are all spaces that would be used as like a stepping stone into slumber. It's like you're supposed to be able to come into these spaces and like let down, but yeah, it's unfortunate that we aren't taught these things, right? It's like, well, I mean, we don't have to get into the politics of public school, but I do think that we could definitely try a little bit harder. There's things that, taxes and changing a tire, and I joke about that a lot on the show. It's like, if we just start with those things, and we might put our kids on the right track. But again, just giving them some tools that they can use to sort through some of this stuff. I have one, not to call out anybody in my household, but I have one person who like everything's sanitary, like everything's sanitary, organized. And then I have another person of like about the same age that is absolutely not. And it's interesting because I'm like watching them problem solve in real time all the time. And yeah, I interject a little bit after everyone's settled, but I'm like, okay, but right, like I don't care if you have to hot tub even, but just like go give yourself that little bit of space before you go to bed. Like, I don't care if it's a hot tub. I don't care if it's a walk. I don't care if it's your music. My kids are allowed to have speakers in all their rooms. Like, I don't care what it looks like, but like allow yourself that 45 minutes to an hour to like have that bit of a letdown. And it has to be in a decent enough space. And I think maybe as their parent, that's where I take a little bit of responsibility for like the cleanliness, because I do understand like the pile situation, although yeah, not to be too picky or not to be too proddy, but it's like, I feel like that's where we can support each other, support our friends and support our family members. It's like, hey, like this is obviously too big of a situation for you to deal with. Let me just start in this one little corner over here without being offensive and just start cleaning out a junk drawer. And it's amazing like what happens and how you see the pieces kind of come together by just cleaning out that one drawer, like the momentum that's built from like kind of picking a corner
Yes.
and going, right? It's
Yes.
like,
Like, like right now, I'm literally sitting in my the one side of my room where I sew and I create clothing and do that, and it's chaotic over here. And I've had a really hard time getting my projects done. And for the last couple of days, I'm like, man, I got it. Even though it's all stuff I'm making and creating, but like even your art space where you're creating stuff, like that should be organized and cleaned every once in a while. You know, like how am I going to draw anything with no space on my desk? Like I'm literally sitting next to a desk where I can't even put a notebook down and write on it because I've been just doing it, like sewing my ass off and just doing all this stuff. So I'm intentionally gonna organize this at some point in the week, you know, because it's like, that is a reflection of how I'm feeling inside. And if I clean and organize things just by design, by osmosis, my thoughts are going to become organized. When I look at things that are organized, I don't know, I can't say that's for everybody. But for me, I look at a mess, I'm feeling like a mess in my mind. I'm seeing clutter, my thoughts are cluttered. I'm sitting next, if I'm pushing over a pile of clothes in order to lay on my bed, what do you think my quality of sleep's going to be like that night? You know, these energies, that's where I'm big on energy, obviously.
Clearly, yeah.
Bad energy, they live inside of those things. That's where they live. Spirits, negative spirits live in clutter. That's where their house, they live inside of that stuff. Why would I want to sleep next to that?
No, you got to pull it apart, air it out a little bit. Like, it's got to air it out a little bit. Like, just give it a good little shake, pull the pieces apart, put some of the things away. And
right.
You know, it's funny. I read an article a little while back that said that it's child abuse to allow your kids to live in a space like that you've created, which I actually agree with. But even more so, it's like, right, okay, but we created a whole generation of parents that don't have the coping skills to not live in those spaces. So like, is it child abuse? Well, it was like intergenerationally child abuse because it started somewhere, and it's tragic because it seems like such an easy solution, but how do we, well, then you also got to find the time to support your people into getting those things done. I mean, I find it challenging even just to do it for myself, but there is value in it. Like my desk, I like avoided my desk for so long because I had to clean it off before I can edit. I got to clean it off before I can sit down and maybe make new content. I got to, it's like things sat in boxes for so long. And I was just like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've invested in myself. I've done all these things, like just clean the space. And I was like, dumped the whole table over, put the things up that I needed, and then just had like a whole box of other stuff. And I was like, I'm not putting this in a closet somewhere. It's going down the road. Like, it's going down the road because there's also value in this box for somebody else who probably needs it more than I do. So like, it needs to get out of the space and go down the road to the next stop because it ain't here. And then sure enough, like, it's, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got all this extra time because I'm not anticipating the chaos as I come down to the studio. I don't anticipate what it feels like or what it looks like, or it's like I don't have to anticipate the 2 hours of cleaning before I can get tucked into that space. And I think as artists, it's like, it's great to have all these mediums out and available to you, but just like you're saying, like, you need to take care of yourself first before you can do that for the world. I wish that was actually talked about in the recovery community more. I find it so fascinating that you just kind of grabbed it by the balls and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play these samples, or I'm just gonna do these things. I'm just gonna, hand over these crystals to these people that absolutely need it. I think, I think that's so cool, but it needs to be talked about more because these things obviously go hand in hand in this like not clean slate, but that feeling that comes with a space that's been blessed and cleansed and full of plants and the smells and the incense and stuff like that. It's like we need that to be part of the conversation more so that all these artists that are locked in recovery and so sober houses, because that's where most of them thrive. That's where most of them live and survive. It's like okay, you need to have this shower in this room really quickly, and on your way out, grab your pencil, your paintbrush, your sewing machine, and your guitar. Pick one and go. And
Right,
I
right.
honestly think that we would have a better fight on the war on drugs, or the war on fentanyl, or whatever you want to call it. Like just allow people to cleanse spiritually, and then grab a medium, and then
Right.
try and see if you can't get in a couple of days after that. Like, yeah.
The power that lies in vibration, and when I say vibration, I mean music, I mean just any sound. You can literally, I've hit a pot with a spoon once, and I was like, ooh, that's nice. Sound and smell are the two modalities that we have available as humans that work on your nervous system immediately. You don't have to take it for 30 days to make sure it works. You don't have to take it at the same time every day. Those chills that you get when you listen to music, that's literally your nervous system resetting, my friend. I can smell certain things and it'll take me back to memories of childhood.
Yeah.
Like, so when in my sessions, I focus on smell and sound, and you cover your eyes. You don't need to look at anything. Our eyes constantly deceive us. We are never actually looking at things for what they are. We're looking at something, taking it, putting it through our filter of trauma, making a judgment about it, and then that's what we see. Unless you're intentionally not doing that, everybody is doing that at every given moment. Looking at something, categorizing it, judging it, and then they decide how they want to feel about it. Like a tree is a tree until you look at it and then you make an assumption about it, you know?
Yeah, right.
Sound and smell, you can't do that. You cannot do that. A smell is a smell. Sound is sound. Lyrics are lyrics, and they stay that way. And we can interpret them. Obviously, not everybody connects to the same lyrics the same way as the other person.
Which is also amazing, though, you know?
But like, here's another example. It's like dementia and Alzheimer's patients, the one thing they don't forget is the music they listen to in their lifetime. Yeah. Tell me that's not some God at work, please. They never forget the music they listen to. That's the one thing dementia patients and Alzheimer's patients never forget. There's videos on YouTube that you can watch it, and this to be the most angry, most devastating case of Alzheimer's. They put headphones on this old lady. She starts smiling and singing the lyrics.
Yep. That actually, it's funny. That's what got me interested in this field to begin with. Like, before I really understood what frequencies did what and why, or why they would even matter, I watched, it was some documentary, and they were bringing, you could see almost like the spirit return to the body. I'm not a religious person, mind you. I haven't picked one yet. I don't know enough to like really pick one. And I've done a ton of research, enough to probably get on with it by now. But the point of what I'm saying was, like, you could see the person's soul and spirit come back into their body, into
and
their
eyes, and their eyes light up and everything. It's the most beautiful thing to see, truly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And working in the schizophrenic space, like, that's another place where I think that it absolutely needs to be more of. I've had conversations with the same human beings every day for months, like clockwork, like absolute clockwork. And then one day, out of nowhere, they just pulled out a guitar and started playing. And I was like, what? And it was like, they were funny and articulate and interesting. And not to say that they weren't the whole time, but their behavior was extremely predictable up until that point. Like, so predictable. And you know, in those spaces, they're often medicated and stable, which is a positive. But it wasn't until they picked up a guitar that I was like, oh my goodness, right. You have a whole life outside of these walls. you had a whole, you know, how many years of creating a personality. And I didn't see that until they played this instrument. And so I just, it should be in every hospital, and it should be in every daycare. Music needs to be exercised more all the time. But you know what? Around the world, they do. They do utilize it a lot more than us. Like North America, I don't know what, well, I mean, again, we don't need to get in politics of it, but it's like we don't utilize these things that have been talked about in Eastern medicine always. You know what I mean? And in the islands always. Like if you go to the Caribbean, like they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean a space without music? Like that just doesn't exist.
Right.
And you look at their healthcare and their income assistance and all these things that they don't actually have, and their numbers just look vastly different. They don't have the same addict culture as we do in North America. Not in the same space. It's just not looked at the same. So yeah, I agree. Like bump the music everywhere and give the kids some tools, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why every church, every single religion has their own mantras, has their own songs. That's why most churches open with music and end with music. I mean, this is not just, this is by design. It's truly by design. I mean, like I got like a part of my certification as a sound healer was my teacher. We sat and we repeated the same mantra together for 1 hour straight on the ground. And that's where I literally unlocked my DNA, and I learned, and I got very into like Hindu mantras, like Ganesh mantras and Shiva mantras and that whole world. But they have that. There's Christian hymns. There's like even the worst religions, because there's some pretty bad ones that I do not agree with. They still got songs, man. They still play music. They have a church band. They have the church choir. They have all these things, and so, and it's overlooked. There is a power behind a group of people singing the same song, and just connecting to the sounds, not judging each other, just loving each other and enjoying the vibration. Like when I'm in a session and I have 30 people laying on the ground, breathing together, listening to my music, I cry every time. I cry every single time, because there's nothing that can disturb that peace. Nothing at all. Somebody could like accidentally knock their water bottle over, and it's still, the vibration still takes over. Nobody even notices that. Nobody even notices anything outside of the container that's been created. Like I do go to church. My lady is a very, very devout Christian, and I go to church, and I love that. I love that church. We sing at the beginning, and my friends are up there like playing their music, and it's powerful, man. Like I consider myself to be an ominist personally, which is a person that sees truth in all religions. I can literally I've studied and learned about so many different religions, and the message is all the same.
Absolutely.
It's all the same. It's just different words, different books, but in the source and the core of every religion is absolutely the same. It's always is. And you just can't even argue that. We can choose to disagree, and the only reason why we don't like other religions when we claim one is because we think that's the only one, and that's limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself, and you're blocking yourself from so many different points of view, because there's many truths to be seen, and there's many truths you could pick them apart. You just take what you resonate with, and you can make that a part of your day. Like I light incense, I drink tea, I light sage, I go to church. I do all sorts of things. I did communion the other day, drink some wine. You know what I mean? I like all of it. It all has a healing property for me. I wouldn't want to, as long as there's a music, I'm going.
Yeah, I agree. I made the mistake of watching Zeitgeist a long time ago when it like first came out. I don't even think it was on. I don't even think YouTube existed yet. You had to get like rip torrent, blah blah blah. And at the beginning of that, and at the beginning of that, it was like it's full of a lot of like hate spiel and information, depending on how you're looking at it. But anyways, it's like it takes all the religions and then breaks them down in such a way that I was like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
okay, it is the same. It is the goal remains the same. Like we all do need like Ja or Ra or whichever. Like we need that in order to function. And I mean, we have we deal with livestock. So for us, like I don't really care what you call that, but we do need the sun. Like I need it for my skin,
Right.
but we
Right.
also need that to grow the crops. So whatever people choose to worship, I think that it all looks very much the same, and
Right.
but it feels the same, because the same energy that I get from maybe going to church with my grandma is the same feeling that I get when I'm like running my horse, like
Right.
in the
Right.
sunshine. It's like that feeling, and maybe the music's a bit different, but the whatever frequency horses do with their hooves on the earth, like
Mm.
that should also be
Mhm.
studied a lot more.
Equine therapy is a real thing, my
Mhm,
friend.
mhm.
Very real thing. Yes. Because
Yeah,
who are
absolutely.
we to judge another person for how they're finding God?
Right.
Who am I to judge you because you don't find God in the same places that I find him, you know? It's
Yeah.
like I appreciate and I respect any way that another person finds that energy. And God to me is good orderly direction.
Yeah.
God. It isn't some, you know what I mean? That's it for me. Good orderly direction, you know. There's always the right thing to do, and when we choose that thing, that's God at play. That's you choosing God. We have always two decisions at any given point: raise our vibration or lower it. Always. Any activity we choose to do at any given moment, it's either going to raise it or lower it. Are you going to choose the God way or the other way? You know, that's it's so simple for me.
I feel like it's so simple for me, but I've just been studying this topic like forever. You know what I mean? It's so beautiful that there's all these examples and things that we can do to get to the same place. And it's like, oh, just give yourself the yes, the check, the whatever that you need to like just plunge in 2 feet first. I wish that everybody had the confidence. And maybe the internet is good for this because it validated what you were doing. It was like the internet jumped on board and they're like, sure, we'll give you 10,000 or whatever, a couple $100. Like that validated what you were experiencing. And I wish that for more people, because I think like there's so many amazing things. So I went from being like I went to school to be a support worker, or I was like, I'm going to be a counselor. I don't really know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to be, I'm going to be a support worker, and then I'm going to be this, and then I'm going to be that. And then I was like, well, now I want to be a clinician. And so what does this look like? But I'm also taking my equine practitioner course in the evening and all of this stuff. But it's exactly all the same thing. It's just a different medium. It's like, I wish people would give themselves more permission to just do the fucking thing. Like, just do the thing, dude. Like, do the thing, because it is actually what you think it is. That feeling that you're getting back is the thing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And like I said earlier, like, why don't we value art as the thing more often? Like, give the money to the local artists, give the money to the person trying to operate the yoga studio, give the person, like, just give them your pocket change. Like, can we do that and try and fight this battle just a little bit, please? Because it's wild that so many of us, and me included, up until not that long ago, that I was so sure that like AA was the only way. That's what we were taught. And that was even before I made a bunch of poor choices and had to start counting days. Like, I listened to the Serenity Prayer most of my life because of my some of my parents' choices. And so it's like that was the only way forward, right? I mean, that's what everyone kept saying. And then it's like, but it actually isn't. Like, it's okay to just like kick off your shoes and sit at the park and play some music and feel like that has the same amount of worth as doing all these like intentional lists or steps or whatever. It's like there is so much love in that, and in those sounds, and having people kind of pull up on you and sit with you, right? It's like, I don't know. I carried a pack of smokes with me long after I quit smoking, just to like have those conversations with strangers, because that's how I was staying like on track with shit. I was like, oh, I just need to go and have like a good bullshit. Like, I don't want to hear the traditional testimonial where somebody tells me their war stories over and over and over again. No disrespect, do your thing.
No,
if that's
not
how
at
you
all.
do it.
Not
like,
at all.
yes, absolutely. Get yours and count your days.
Right.
But it's not what worked for me. And all the things that you're talking about, it's like why obviously they're working because you're doing it and it's working for you, but I wish that that was absolutely the standard, or at least was given as an option more often to people that are in crisis. It's like all you have to do is give yourself permission to be okay with whatever happens next. Doesn't have to look great, but it will feel really good. Just give yourself that permission. I think, yeah. Sorry for the rant, but I'm just like, man, why can't we all just like love each other for whatever it is that we're doing? Because like that's got to be somewhat towards the answer. Like you're saying, you're sitting in church watching your people do their things and everybody coming together, and it's like it doesn't even matter what that religion is. It's like that's the space where everybody chooses to come and like be who they are for a little moment. We have this like time that's set for everybody to meet up. So like take that to the streets, or take that to the back patio, or take that to the pub or whatever, and like, you know, just enjoy life.
Because it's like to be in a certain group, or like AA is, I've been traumatized by AA in my life. I've been to 40 treatment centers. They used to, you know, they use AA when you get in trouble. The courts make you go. You got to get meeting slip signed. That was never the intention for AA, my friend, ever. That should have never been a thing ever. So for me, it's like an acrylic paint artist isn't over here saying, "Oh, fuck you watercolor artists."
Right. Yeah.
It's like, you know, because that's pretty much what it is at the end of the day. It's like,
absolutely.
In AA, I literally have been to meetings where I was kicked out because I identified as an addict and not an alcoholic. Kicked out of the meeting for that.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, man, what if that would have been somebody's first meeting? They would have never went back to AA ever again.
Yeah.
Ever again.
I was kicked out for not identifying as an addict because I refused to call myself that, because much like the mantras that you talk about, it's like, I don't want to say that over and over and over again.
I don't
and
say
let
that
that
in
be
meetings.
my truth. I don't say that
in meetings. I say I'm Cody and I'm in recovery. That's what I say. And people will be like, alcoholic, and I'm like, dude, don't interrupt my share. I am my name is Cody and I'm in long-term recovery.
Yeah.
To continuously say every single day, hey, I'm Cody, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, that it may work for you, buddy, but that I'm not drinking today. I'm not in active addiction today. I struggled with addiction and alcoholism, but to identify as that for the next 20 years and the only place I feel safe is in a meeting with other people that identify as that, I'm sorry. My life is bigger than that. My purpose is bigger than that. I'm here for so much more than to just be an addict in a meeting.
Can you imagine the plan is just to avoid this one thing or two things or whatever, and like that be the plan? Like, what the hell happens when I run into this thing or whatever? Like, your life is so much more bigger than this meeting. And it's like, if you don't set yourself up for success in all the ways, it's like, dude, you actually think that just avoiding that thing is going to happen? The first thing that happened to me when I stopped doing, like, I mean, add anything into that spot, freaking like downside pants, whatever, like call it whatever, shirts, windows, whatever, put it, like enter thing there. It's like the first thing that happened as soon as I had enough time to like venture to Walmart. It's like I literally ran into like 18 people.
Right.
So like then what happens? Like, okay, start this trip all over again. I guess I'll stay at home for 72 hours and hopefully I don't like dehydrate so bad that I die and then try this again. It's like, no. You got to learn about like nutrition and hydration and sleep first. Those are like super important. Like super, super important. When you got those locked in, like then we're going to give you the next couple of steps, which should be like, you know, turn on some tunes, open up some windows, and like, you know, find some value in yourself. Like volunteer anywhere or be an ambassador for something. And I think we should also give people that opportunity more often. Like every performing arts theater should have ambassadors at them. Like give everybody a reason to, you know, have a shower or throw on some pit stick or not or whatever, right? Like just to like primp themselves up a little bit. Like give everybody a job, an usher, ticket taker, whatever, like whatever it is, and give them value. Because the reason why AA works the way that it does, or people say that it works the way it does, is the 2% of success that they have actually comes from the sponsors. So just do that then. Make everybody a sponsor of their own life. Give everybody the same value and the same worth as the sponsor then. Just take the 2% and multiply that shit. Like, what's the holdup? Like, just do that. Like, those people aren't better than you because they maybe have more days than you. No. Like, give everybody value and then see what happens. Because I'll tell you what, like, for myself, as soon as I realized that I was like actually a human being and that I like the things that were working for me weren't totally crazy and I was capable of holding down a conversation with somebody normal outside of like the streets for 5 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I'm so fucking great. Like, I'm so great. I'm amazing. I'm this amazing, cool human being that not only has like, life skills, but I also get to like have these textbook skills now because I put myself in that position and blah, 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 pre, post, whatever, addiction or not addiction, call it what you want it. It's like, I have all this life experience that nobody else has but me. And I get to then bring that into the world. Whether I choose to share that with everybody or keep it to myself, I am amazing. And I don't know why that's not the standard. Play some fucking music, drink some water, and go outside, man. Like, go outside. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors. Like, throw some food on the barbecue. And when somebody shows up and says, that smells good, invite them over. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like, we don't talk about that nearly enough. It's like, yes, I think that everyone's recovery or sobriety should look like how whatever works for them. But like, man, is there a whole other piece that works equally, maybe not equally, even more so than the standard? Which is you are that example, Cody. It's so cool that there's like another person in this same universe as mine, in the same timeline as mine, that has found, recovery in this unique way. When you go into the institutions, into the courthouses, into the rehab spaces, detox, all of those spaces, like, there is no music anywhere. It is deadpan quiet. Like, I distinctly remember hearing people like try and live their lives, like people like farting and like coughing, and you can hear like the lady making, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, it's just like, holy shit, man. Like, I need some sort of buffer between me and like the rest of the world right now until I'm ready to get into the rest of the world. Right. It's like, I just need this little bit of a buffer. And it's just like, man, like, we need to put some music on,
Yes. I would literally call treatment centers.
Yeah.
Before I would go to them years and years ago, and I would say, I'm not coming if I cannot have my phone for music. I don't care about this 30-day blackout. I got music down. You could take my SIM card out.
Yeah, totally.
I had a treatment center that I would connect my Bluetooth headphones to my phone, leave it in the office, and I would sit outside the door. Because I was like, dude, you guys aren't getting this. And I'm like, how bad do you want to get sober? Really badly. But why does that have to do with anything of me hearing music? Yeah. Like, seriously, I don't understand. You guys, like, when I ask somebody what their favorite music is and they just don't know, I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. I got like 7 favorite songs right now.
Yeah.
It's
and also, like, how bad do you want treatment? But like, I also don't want to rip my fucking skin off my body.
Yes, like, it's like treatment doesn't have to be miserable, and I hate my life. Like, I already know, or I already fucking think I'm a piece of shit, bro.
Right. Yeah.
I do not need to like constantly be in an environment where I'm just reminded of how wrong I am, how fucked up I am, and how I don't deserve this and all that. It's like, I've been to a lot of shame-based treatment centers where they would just tell you to shut the fuck up, you don't know nothing and all that. And it's like, that really didn't do anything good for me. Like, I'm here because I think I'm the worst person in the world. I hate myself. I literally do not know how to love myself. Anybody that sticks a needle in their arm and uses the same needle for 30 days in a row and gives themselves abscesses on both arms, dude, believe me, I've told myself all the worst things that a human can possibly tell themselves.
Yeah.
I need love. I need love, bro. Tough love. Maybe it works for some people. I don't think it personally does.
No, tough love is like, I think it makes the person giving it feel better. It's like, well, and listen, when I'm about to say this, like, if you have somebody in your life who is struggling and you are setting healthy boundaries because you need to protect yourself, your house, your kids, whatever, absolutely. I hear
Right.
you loud and clear. However, if you actually think that like exiling your loved one into oblivion is going to work, it's not. It's not.
Right.
It's absolutely not. Like I
Right.
I remember the day that I decided to like love my mom unconditionally regardless of whatever was happening. I was like, I don't give a shit.
Mm.
Like I don't give a shit. And I went and stayed with her in the treatment center. She did like a 21-day program at like a transition house. This is like, going back to like the 90s, I guess. And I remember like I'm like, I am unapologetically just going to love my mom, because if she dies tomorrow, then I'm going to be pissed off I was mad at her. And if she
Right.
doesn't, and like, I don't know, maybe she made poor choices after that, but I would say that we've had more good days than bad days. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've had some really great times. Like I'm picking her up on Thursday, like to go and get her. She's still around. And it's like, I would have wasted all of that time being tough on her. Like, again, set boundaries, set healthy boundaries. But like, I'm not gonna excuse everybody out of my life because society says that I'm supposed to do that, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Why would you strip somebody's kids away from them? And, like, no shade to MCFD or whatever, family, children, whatever. It's like, how can you honestly think that like stripping somebody's kids away from them and setting up all these loopholes and then giving them all these expectations to succeed to is going to get them to the goal? Like they couldn't function in the first place.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's the same with probation. It's like, okay, that's cool, and I hear you. I hear what you guys are trying to accomplish with people. It's a way to kind of like refine the situation, and hopefully people will become successful. But if they weren't able to manage a regular people schedule or a regular people job or whatever in the first place, then why do we think that the things that are attached to parole and probation are actually going to work? They're not.
Right. Right.
Right? It's like,
Exactly.
dude, we're doing this backwards. And then we're wondering why, like, well, our kids don't have any examples because everybody's in jail or everyone's on the street or everyone, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, because we're not right with the sense of like family and community anymore.
Right.
Bring that part back.
Right.
Or maybe we never
Right.
had it. I don't know. But yeah, I just refuse to like be that in people's lives, and not to make it about me, but I think you got something right there, because like, yeah, just need to like hug on people and love on people.
Right. Right. Like
Heavy.
my dad, I was born to teenage parents. My mom
Yeah.
was 16, my dad was 16 years old, and he went to prison for 7 years, 4
Wow.
months
Yeah.
before I was born. Okay.
Yeah.
I never had a father in my life.
Yeah.
It ruined him. And he continued to go back and back and back. And he went to an adult prison from 16 to 23 years old.
Dang.
And so I watched that system take my father away from me. Like I watched it, like I seen it happen. And to this day, my father is still so hurt and traumatized by the things he experienced in that system. Me being a person that was on probation from 15 to 27 years old, I had probation officers in my life where I had to bring my therapist to the meeting because of how terrible I was being treated. A probation officer, the definition of a probation officer is a person that is supposed to help you raise your vibration and guide you to a better life. Not somebody that's supposed to be a blockade or a barrier to you and your freedom, because that's pretty much what probation officers have become. They got the key to take you back, and that's what they treat you like. And I can't say every single probation officer, but most of them are on a power trip, and they just want to control people, and they're looking for reasons to put you in jail instead of giving you reasons not to go back.
Yeah. Every experience that I've had has always been on like a long weekend. And it's like, yo, like you just waited right until Easter weekend to throw that person back. Like, what? over a 5-minute breach that didn't really exist in the first place, because
Right.
you definitely
Right.
had a conversation with them down at the front desk. Like, you waited until, like, they've been doing that same routine day in and day out, that
Right.
time every single day, and you didn't want to call it until Thursday before Good Friday.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Whoa, okay.
Exactly.
And you're just gonna sit
Right.
on that paperwork until Tuesday because you can, and just
Right.
strip somebody away from, like, their Easter dinner that they've been working towards for how long? Like,
Right.
whoa,
Because
okay.
I'm 13 hours past letting you know that I changed addresses. How about
Right.
how about be grateful and congratulate me on getting a new home? I'm
Yeah,
going to
totally.
I'm going to jail because I
Yeah.
didn't tell you that my new address. Sorry, I forgot. I'm
Yeah.
sober still.
Yeah, totally.
I've had people go to jail for that. For
Yeah.
getting a new home for their family.
Yep.
That's a violation?
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was overemployment, actually, and it was like, right? It was like, "Ah, man, we're all celebrating, congrats, yeah, got all the paperwork signed off, like, okay, cool, let them know that we're, like, on our way, you're still gonna be there on time, but it's gonna be, like, right at the time, so, like, just let everybody know." Yeah, let everybody know, everybody knows,
Yep.
okay, cool, right? Yeah, walk in, like, "Yeah, dude, this dude is gainfully employed now, it's super exciting, he, like, starts his first day with us tomorrow, thank you so much." Boom, 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 turn around. Nope. Go back. You'll have your 30-day evaluation in 30 days. Catch you later. See you later.
Wow.
What is happening right now?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's wild is it's like, here we are again, like, doing these situations, and it is a big racket. As much as people don't want to talk about it, like, it is a big racket. That's how that's how everybody's bills get paid, and that's how the case files stay stacked, and that's how the jails stay full. And we hear about all these conspiracy theories and all the stuff that's happening in the music industry and this industry and that industry, but the reality is, even on, like, a really small scale, it's like, this is absolutely what's happening. And then when you see the lawyers shaking hands afterwards and, like, hanging out and going playing golf together and stuff like that, like, these people aren't against each other. Like, these people all see each other every Tuesday morning
Right.
at 8 a.m.,
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I think it's like, how do we, I guess once we figure out how to, like, take responsibility for ourselves and not necessarily play the system, but just create a new system, is when you start seeing successes. I mean, clearly you were able to pull that off. Yeah, I appreciate you being, like, so candid, and I can't imagine some of the things that you've gone through to get there. But it's like, you figured it at some point. You were able to, like, pull those things together and make them work for you without actually having to comply to, like, all the big rules, which is amazing to be able to say that you did that. I'm sure that it wasn't that easy, of course, to, like, navigate all that stuff, but, like, man, you got there and you figured it out, and now you're here giving back to not just the community, but, like, society as a whole. Like I said in the beginning of this, like, I was actually confused about what I was supposed to do next with my day. Like, I had a laundry list of things. How am I going to get this done? How am I going to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then about halfway into, I can't help myself with pineal detox, because obviously Pinecase, like, it's named after, respecting people who utilize their pineal gland to help other people stay out of pine boxes. Like, that's in a long way why it's called that. It's like, well, we're not a mental case, but we're a pine case, or, we need to use our pineal gland to stay out of pine cases or pine boxes or whatever. But anyways, so when I seen, like, the detox, I was, like, kind of curious to, like, hear what that would feel like. But anyways, yeah, socks off, all of a sudden my windows are open and things are happening. So it's just, like, it's really cool that you've been able to, like, do all these, like, nitty gritty, thick real life things, but then also found a way to, like, contribute back in such a massive way. How in the heck did it? Why this instrument specifically? Why a flute?
So that literally, man, like, I blew up on social media, and I was just doing bowls, and I met a guy named Clark, and I started to give away free sound healing with my brother Derek. He's a yoga instructor, and we started this thing called Breathe Light. That's what a session is with me. It's called Breathe Light. And we started giving away these free sessions at the park, and they just blew up. And that's where I met this guy named Clark, and he worked at a local, like, crystal shop, and he had some flutes, and seriously, it was this simple. He was like, hey man, you should get a flute. And so I drove to Sedona, bought a flute, and that was it. I had no previous like interest or anything with woodwind instruments at all. And then I started to and then once I started playing, I was like, oh, I need another one. I need another one. And so I have over like 50 now. And so and then I started to learn about the different keys and the hertz, and how each key in music is directly associated to different chakras in our body. Like the key of A is the third eye, the key of B is the crown chakra, the G is throat chakra, F is heart chakra, E is solar plexus, D is the sacral, and then C is our root chakra. And so I had this idea. I was like, oh my God, I need to get a flute for every chakra so I can heal people's bodies. And then I started to learn that 432 hertz is the frequency of the universe. And in the mid and like 1940s in Nazi Germany, they made a switch from the radio waves being 432 to 440. And it was the day that the world weaponized vibration. And then I was like, holy shit, dude. 440 is such an unnatural frequency to listen to. It completely keeps you just this much disconnected from yourself. And it's literally how they brainwash people with music. All music on the radio is 440 hertz, and it's damaging our minds, it's damaging our brains. And so I was like, I am literally going to make music that heals. I want music that people can listen to heal. I don't even want you to have thoughts in your brain when you listen to this music. And so all my flutes are tuned to 432 hertz. Each one is a specific key for a specific chakra. I've had them all custom made from different parts of the world. I have a root chakra made in Ukraine. I have a G throat chakra made in New Zealand. I have a crown chakra made in New Zealand. So the flutes, and then I started to get into the scales. I was like, holy shit, there's the Native American scale, but there's also Eastern scales. And then I started playing with the Hijaz scales and Arabian scales. I'm known for playing in the Hijaz scale. I love Egyptian scale. So I have lots of flutes in the Egyptian scale. And then I learned about the Aeolian scale, which is the scale that's used to help people release sadness and sorrow. And so I have a Aeolian heart chakra flute. I had that one made. And I shit you not, 99% of the time I play this flute in a session, everybody cries.
Right.
So I'm like, it's undeniable. So I just started to understand, and all the different flute makers, they all have a different way they make flutes. So each flute that I get, it's a brand new instrument. Even though it's still a piece of wood with holes, the craftsmanship is always so different. The key is different. You can get a high C flute. You can get a low C flute, a bass flute. You can get, the amount of things you can do with the flute is, I think it's more expansive than any other instrument, because for one, there is a flute in every culture and country of the world. Irish, Scottish, they got the bagpipes, they got Peruvian flutes, they got Mexican flutes, Australia has the didgeridoo, which is, a flute. That's a huge flute in my opinion. There's literally a flute. They have Ukrainian. There is a flute that is connected to every single culture. They have the ney flute in Egypt. They have ocarinas. I could literally keep going. They have the fujara in Slovakia, the shepherd's flute. That's an overtone. It never ends, dude. They have the pan flute in Peru. It never ends. I'm still learning about the amount of flutes that are available to play and get in the world. It's the most expansive and most customizable instrument available to us.
I knew when Andre, like Outcast, the song Humble Mumble is like, it actually gave me the balls to like say some shit in art class, like grade 8, grade 9. That's when I started like just making shit out of clay and like fucking up the
Yes.
program, like writing shit on shit that I wasn't supposed to be doing, submitting assignments with KKK on it because I was like, well, it's in this song, like, well, it's in this song. Like I was just using it for every excuse ever, always. And then right, and so when he came out with some flute music, I was like, oh my god,
Yes.
like because he's always tapped, dude. He's so tapped in.
Album was released the day after my son was born.
Wow.
And I laid in the delivery room with my son laying next to me, and I listened to that album. And it was just a few months into my flute playing, and I was like, oh my god, you just made flute playing cool, dude.
Yes.
And then my following count went even higher because everybody was like, yo, you want some Andre 3000 shit?
Yeah,
and I was like, yes, dude, yes. He taught people what 432 hertz was, man.
Yeah.
Like people that would have never even thought to listen to that type of music just because they love Andre 3000. They put that shit on and it completely opened their minds to a whole different world.
I knew it, like, well, and Erica is my girl, like always, and has been like, it doesn't matter like what you know, decade, whatever. Like she's always been, when everybody else was listening to like, you know, I don't even know who was cool back then, but anyways, I always had Erica on. So those have always been kind of my like standards. Like if they're doing it or on something, then you know, like, you know, in about 10, 20 years, then everybody else will start to figure it out because they're like tapped in to a totally different wave of information than most of us. And I would argue that like in that same standard, like you're in there somewhere tapped into that same information because there's not everybody, right? Like, and obviously like you've worked your ass off to get there and have allowed yourself to be open to these experiences and things like that, but you can kind of tell. And like, not that I have a ton of practice, but I've had enough people sit on this side of my screen to know kind of like which ocean they've kind of gotten to. And it's like, yeah, it's fascinating. So, not to sound totally crazy, I just mean that like there is definitely some historical stuff that people have been utilizing for a long time.
Yes.
And that's why we get things that are like the same information in different parts of the world that are the same thing. I guess maybe the pyramids would be like a really kind of like surface example, right? Like you have the same measurements for like the Mayans as you do for the Egyptians, right? So the same information, but there was no way to like connect that information to each other. So obviously they're both kind of tapped into that same space. And so listening to you talk about what you're passionate about, I feel like in my heart, like you're kind of tapping into that same information as some of these great artists like Andre and Erica and things like that. Like, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Erica
you.
is one of my favorites. Erica's one of my favorites as well. I grew up listening to her albums with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And she is a sound healer.
Mm-hmm.
She has been utilizing sound for her whole career. She's a sound healer as well.
It's always been in there. And it's like, even not that maybe maybe that's the beauty in it, is like, you know, she's just making music, but she's been putting it in there without the education for everybody, because she's just like blessing everyone, like little sprinkle here, little sprinkle here, little sprinkle here. And it's like the people that are aware of it, that make their music in that frequency, it's like it's such a gift, right? It's such a gift to us. We don't even know what the hell's going on. It's like, holy shit. I mean, yeah.
All of Michael Jackson's music is recorded in 432 hertz.
Yeah, Jill Scott's another one. Yeah, there's a bunch of amazing artists out there.
And it's also Justin Bieber's new album Swag, that's also in 432 hertz.
There you go. Yeah. Well, and it's wild, like, because we just don't even realize when, like, what we're living in all the time. And it's part of like the fluoride conversation when you're talking about like the day that we switched over, and it's like, well, they were getting us from like all sides. Right? They were like, okay, we're gonna fuck up the radio, and then we're also gonna like start putting this stuff in the water, like, right? So it's like they knew what they were doing, and to act like that wasn't all happening, like, well, you can live under the, you know, you can put
Explain to me why all church bells were destroyed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's an example
like,
enough. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a little bit weird, don't you think? There used to
Right.
be a church bell that went off on the hour by the hour everywhere up until
Everywhere.
like the mid 1930s and 40s. Very weird. I would have liked to have those growing up.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I would have liked to have had a lot of stuff though, like, just freedom of expression without being looked at as like a total quack. And like they stripped that from us as soon as they started like, reefer madness. They're like, oh no, no, you can't do any of that, you hippie. Like, what the heck? So there's like, yeah, I mean, in the same way that we should have ambassadors in recovery in that space where to make people, to feel good about themselves. I think that there is already ambassadors in the healing space. Clearly, you're one of those human beings, and when, yeah, it's so funny. Hey, when you come across them in your life organically, it's like all I want to do is just like it's like not like wrap you up and make sure you're okay, but it's like, oh shit, okay, everything's okay over there in that part of the world? Okay, cool. Like, it's like I immediately want to be like, you good, okay, next question. Like, all the time. It's like maybe every like once, every 360 or whatever. It's like, okay, you good? Because they're just, you guys are so not few and far between, but the ones that choose to like actually stick with it and do some stuff. I mean, the Egyptian clarinet, there's a couple of videos that go off into that, and that alone, if you never ever did anything else but just that catalog of videos, that alone has done so much for the culture that it's like we have to protect you at all costs. It's like, you know what I'm saying here? Like, it's like, holy
Yeah, and people
shit,
love that Egyptian clarinet, man. I didn't realize
dude.
like that was a Father's Day gift for my lady. I was like, I really want this. And I taught myself how to play it in one day, and it's people's favorite instrument. And the next thing that I think is going to really get me up there is I'm going to learn how to play the duduk, which is it's an Armenian flute, and it is
Okay.
it's a double reeded instrument, a double reeded flute, and it is the most beautiful sound I've ever heard in my life. So that's my next venture. I'm going to get myself a duduk. So look out for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you heard it here first. That's really interesting. So and like I guess there's still space to like be learning and taking it in and allow us to kind of follow along. Before we get out of here, where can everybody go and find you at?
So my main platforms. So I'm on TikTok. I just post little things on there. I don't really like TikTok too much anymore, but I'm very heavy on YouTube and very heavy on Instagram. So I post a lot on Instagram. I sell a lot of my custom clothing on there. I have long hour videos on YouTube. I post very often meditations. I do readings and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm on Instagram at Cody Joshua _ healing sounds. And then on YouTube, I'm Cody the Sound Healer. And then I'm on every streaming platform. I have about 4, or I forgot how many albums I have now. I have a lot of albums out. And I don't only just do like sound healing meditation music. I also do sound healing infused hip hop beats. So I have a producer that he takes my chants and my flutes and he remixes them into like lo-fi hip hop. So I have lots of those albums out, and so Cody Joshua on all streaming platforms, and my picture is me as a baby.
Wait, we didn't even touch. Okay, thank you for all that, but we also didn't touch on the giraffes. I was like, dude, there were so many like random things that I wanted to know about. But
Oh yeah, so the giraffe, that's my spirit animal, obviously, and
yeah.
so the giraffe is the first animal as a toddler, as a kid that I ever had a connection with. Me and my mom, growing up with a teenage mother, we moved around a lot growing up. Like I went to like 8 different elementary schools by the time I was in 4th grade. And so she had these two wooden giraffe statues that went with us everywhere. And I always used to see them. It was a big one and a small one. It was like me and my mom. Like I saw these giraffes. It was like me and my mom. And then a few years ago, before I started to do like a lot of sound healing, I had a very psychedelic mushroom experience in the forest with my friend, and I was standing on a rock, just like looking up, and he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, you're like a giraffe, man. It's like a giraffe, dude." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then a little while after that, I started working with this shaman. Her name was Donna, and I met with her 2 times a week to do soul retrieval work and just like past life regression stuff. I worked with her for like a year, twice a week, and she would always tap into my energy. And she's like, "Cody, you literally have a giraffe spirit guide. It's literally following you everywhere you go. It's everywhere." And so I was just like I get chills thinking about that fool. And so I just and then when I started my social media, I'm like, I'm going to be the dude that when you think about a giraffe, it's me. You're thinking of a me. And so I fucking got and collected all of the giraffe stuff that I possibly could. The reason why I'm wearing a giraffe shirt on this podcast, because dude, the giraffe to me is reaching for the highest vibrations humanly possible, being a leader of stability, and being able to completely destroy things if they wanted to, but being so gentle because they choose to be.
You're
So that's the giraffe.
so
So that's the giraffe for me. Like I have giraffe flutes. I have giraffes carved on my flutes. I have like custom full giraffe pattern flutes. Like the giraffe is everything to me. Truly everything to me.
Dude, you're just such a cool human being, honestly. Like you're just such a cool guy. Like man, thank you so much for like walking us through some of your life. Like it you're just such a cool human being.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity so much to just be seen.
Yeah.
Thank you for seeing me. It feels really nice to be seen and to be heard. It's just 2 things that a lot of people don't really get in their life, and I love and appreciate it on a cellular level, truly.
Yeah. Well, the feeling is absolutely mutual. It's funny. Like I don't get often. I have no idea what happens when we set into this thing. I know that I'm gonna try and understand a little bit of somebody's story, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about music, and then we're gonna wrap up and then get out of here. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised all the time, and tonight was just it felt like such a I felt like such a gift. I Not often do I like focus on my posture. Like I don't know if you realize the things that you actually are controlling in a space naturally and really comfortably. Like there was times, much like taking my socks off earlier, I was like, oh yeah, like it's okay to like sit this way so that I can like actually like shoulder to shoulder and like have a conversation with you. I know that we're across the screen, but like there's just so much unspoken things that were happening in this conversation for me that I don't often experience. And I appreciate all of that for, because we get to bring these conversations to people and in the comments and just to say like, we see you in the comments, you guys, thank you so much for everybody that's come and hung out with us. So it's like everybody in the comments that hangs out with us in these gets to experience the conversation. Not often do I also get to experience the conversation while having the conversation. So those are different experiences for me. And I think that goes along with like all the things that you're really aware of in your day to day that allow me to hold that position in this. So I like, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're
and
so
like,
welcome.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. And also like, at Pinecase, we have things like a scholarship, and we have our warm line and stuff like that. And so when people come and sit in this beautiful space with us and share their story, their testimonial and their skill set and their passion, we're able to quantify that a little bit and give back to the community. And so, thank you so much for the donation of your time and experiences. Yeah. And blessings. Like, we talked about religion and maybe not being religious and being overly religious. And it's like, these are one of those experiences where I feel very blessed and very honored to be able for things to line up, that this is part of my day job. Like what a cool gig, man. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. And thank you for your transparency and candidness when it comes to the recovery piece of your story.
Of course.
It absolutely, like, it saves lives. I know, the more we talk about it, the less stigma that is out there and exists for people. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that struggle with even just asking for help or admitting to themselves that they have a problem. And so when we're able to have these conversations and talk about some of the stuff that's happened, it allows people to maybe reach out and find those spaces and places for them to be to get healthier in. And
Right.
so we
Absolutely.
appreciate that as well.
Of course.
Man, what a Tuesday evening. Like, what a Tuesday evening. Cody Joshua, it has been such a pleasure. Listen, I'm like, I don't even know. Not often am I like lost for words, but I genuinely enjoyed this. And I'm so excited to be able to like take this conversation and show people in my life. And there's some people that would really value from hearing specifically what notes that they need to be paying attention to and what frequencies they need to be paying attention to. And so to hear that in like a really textbook 1, 2, 3 ABC sort of way is just, it's absolutely, it was cool to hear, but it's also like super neat to be able to take that back in and maybe add it into like our daily life.
Yes.
For everyone in the comments, if you guys haven't already, like I dropped the YouTube link for your for your beautiful page. Go in there and just check it out and add it to your playlist. I think it's great to plug people's music, and I think we need to support the artists and support, local and support the local artists. However, I think just as important as maybe booking into an appointment to a counselor, or going to the dentist to go get like, a checkup and some scans, x-rays, whatever you need to kind of move forward. I think that adding you to people's playlists, is equally as important. And so yeah, add it to the toolbox that you guys have or that you're just starting to build, because it definitely made a difference to me. And so hopefully it'll make a difference to you as well. Listen, I'm like trying not to like indulge in the comments too much, but there's some very beautiful people in there tonight. And so thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with Cody and I and sharing this amazing conversation about all the things that you can, that you've experienced and that you can do for each other, and for yourself. So
yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I have a new song releasing tomorrow, and it's my favorite song I've ever recorded. So look out for that. It'll be on Spotify and all that stuff.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, subscribe and share. You guys go like and follow, and add it in. We get to wait with bated breath for this new cut, so I'm really excited to check that out. And also, and also we got another show for you guys Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you go ahead and hit the notification bell, like, follow, share, subscribe, all of that stuff, we do appreciate it. No, we're not too pushy, but if you go ahead and do that, we do notice and we thank you so much. So we'll be back here again next Tuesday evening with another beautiful artist. We highlight everybody from mental health professionals to musicians. My gosh, we've had crocheters on here and the like. So Tuesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. That's 10 on the East Coast. You guys take care of each other, stay safe, and we will see you next Tuesday. Okay. Bye for now.
We stay strong. We stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it. Refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch a color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face. Get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins. With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.